Welcome back to the channel, guys. In this video I'm going to be showing you how you can get delegate access to your client's Azure tenant or their subscription from your own tenant. So this is especially useful for MSP environment where you have to log into various clients tenant in order to set up, monitor, or modify things on your client's tenant. It just makes things much easier to access just from one point. So we will be using something called Azure Lighthouse. Lighthouse is something they have introduced both in Microsoft 365 and in Azure to be able to get access to different subscriptions or tenants basically. But it's most useful for MSP. So how you get there is once you're in your portal.azure.com, you just search for Lighthouse and it pops up there and you open that up. And I have two tenants open. These two are separate just to show you. What we'll be doing is we will be creating an ARM template on our source tenant or the main tenant, and then we will be deploying it on the client's tenant. Okay, so on the client's tenant. So let's get started. We have three options here: manage the customer, ask for Azure Lighthouse, and control service provider access. So we want to manage our customer, and currently if we go to customer tab, there is nothing there, right? So what we'll have to do is we will have to generate the ARM template. So if we go under overview, under my customer, you will have service offers and create ARM template. So we'll click on that. We will name it Lighthouse demo. You can call it whatever you want. This is where you, under authorization, this is where you define the scope of the delegate access. So do you want full subscription access on the remote tenant or the client's tenant? That's what I usually go with, so I'm gonna use subscription here. And down here is where you provide if it should be a user on the source. Do you want a group to have that access, or do you want a service principal? I prefer adding both group and service principal, because if you want a user to be able to access client's tenant, then you want to use group and you just want to add those users to that group. If you want an application running on your tenant to be able to access things from the client's tenant, like let's say if you set up a Grafana dashboard, you would want to use a service principal where you don't need to go to the portal and log in. It just pulls the data. So we will set up both in this tutorial. So I'm gonna make sure I have the group. So I'm just gonna go to Entra ID, and I think I already have the group set up. I think I just call it Lighthouse, but we'll just search for it. Lighthouse user. So yeah, just create a normal security group, and add the user who you want to be able to access your client's tenant. Okay, so I have added myself here, and we already have the group. So we're just gonna copy the name here, or I guess I can just type it out. So going back to Lighthouse again, I guess I should have opened it in a new tab. So we're back there. So back to add authorization, we will select the group, click on select group, select our group that we created in Entra ID portal. The role we want to assign, I usually go with contributor. So that's what I'm going to use, but you can have reader or even owner access. Access type will be permanent. We'll hit add, and it disappeared. Probably the reason because I didn't open Entra ID in a separate tab. So we'll just quickly get to that again. So I'm just gonna call it Lighthouse demo. Add authorization. Select group. Select Lighthouse user. Role will be contributor. Select that, permanent. That's good. So under add authorization, you have the group listed with the role, and it should be permanent. Now we will also add a service principal, and I already have a service principal created. previously. I think I just call it Lighthouse. However, I think I'm gonna show you how you can create it. So basically, Service Principal is an app registration. So I'm gonna open a new tab so I can go to Enter ID, and then under app registration, we will just create a new registration, call it Lighthouse Demo 2, and leave the settings as it is. All we need from this is the application ID and the secret key, which we will generate. Just call it test or whatever, or demo. Assign that key an expiration day, and there we have the value for our secret key. So I am gonna use that, and I'm just gonna copy it in a notepad on my other screen here. Okay, so that's good. Now if we go back to add service principal, we should be able to see the one we just created, and there it is. So that is how you create a service principal. You can of course use Azure CLI for it too, but I just showed you the GUI way. And again, we will use contributor, and then access type will be permanent. And now we have both our group and service principal added, and we'll just click on view template, and it creates this template for us, which we all we need to do now is just download that template, and there it is, and go to your clients now. So over to our client tenant, we will search for Lighthouse again, and we will come to the Lighthouse page, and over here we will click on view service provider offer and service provider offer, and click on add offer. There is two ways. If your MSP publishes this template to the marketplace, you should be able to just go on any tenant and just view in marketplace and just add it or deploy it. But since I am creating a custom ARM template, I will have to manually upload it. Okay, so we'll click on that and click on let's just upload the one we downloaded. So there it is, and we will hit upload. Now I gotta tell you something here, okay? If we go to their official website, Azure Lighthouse, the reason why I'm showing you this is because if I hit upload, I'm gonna get an error message here. Oh, I think it's stuck. But so it shows us, oh, that's the template, that's the name of your MSP. If I hit next, the validation will fail because I need to be an MSP, or in other sense, I need to have sufficient license on my main tenant to be able to use this Lighthouse feature. Otherwise, if I don't have enough license, and by that I mean if I don't have Azure P2 on my source tenant, so if I go to Entra ID here again, and if I go to overview, you can see I have Microsoft Entra ID free. And if I go to their documentation and just click on I think it's under FAQ. So what license are required to enable Azure Lighthouse? You need to have Azure P2, okay? It says with PIM, but basically you gotta have a P2 license here, or you gotta be a MSP, a registered MSP, okay? So I don't meet any of those requirements. That is why I'm not able to, I'm getting this error when I'm deploying it on the client's tenant. But if you are using an MSP tenant, like an actual MSP tenant, you of course will have E5 license and also the P2 license, and when you upload it on your client's tenant, you will not receive this error message. All right, but basically after uploading, you hit create. It takes at least 15 minutes for this customer to show up on your side under here, okay? And that's how you do it. That's basically how you do it. And from then on, you just log into one tenant and you will be able to see all the subscriptions here, okay? So thanks for watching. If you have any questions, just let me know in the comments and I will be glad to answer them.